You know what? I want to have a little conversation with you, a little chat. Just me talking about things. I were at my mother's house. We were eating dinner, and my brother was there, and my mother, and we saw a program. I don't watch television, so the only times I actually see television, like TV, is when I'm eating at my mother's place. And there was this program, Norwegian program, where a Norwegian skier took some kids with some with ADHD, and some without arms and shit like that. And they're like, they were gonna like learn how to ski or whatever. It was a nice show. It was like the freaks, everybody was bullied at school and everything. This kid that was born without arms was having a rough time. But there was this, what should I say, a mentally challenged person there. That's one of the coolest people I've seen ever. He was so, he wasn't the smartest one, but he was like a huge, warm, smiling dog, And my brother started laughing, and he said, like, you know what, Dan? You kind of remind me of him. And I said, him? And he started laughing, my brother did. And he said that you actually check off all the boxes for every kid here. The ADHD and anxiety thing and everything. And he said, you should be on the show like that. It was a joke, of course. But I started thinking, like, when I saw the program, 2 episodes, 2 hours, 2 episodes, I like kind of, I went through shit. I have ADHD and I have bipolar. I got those 2 diagnoses later in life. It was around 30, I think. And I also remember I was at a shrink, and she said to me that my doctor, he's a cool guy. He's all right in my book. But my doctor had written a note from me, like, he has an eccentric personality. Like my doctor even. And I know I've always been different. And we talked about, me and my brother talked kind of a little bit about that I don't have, and he agreed full-heartedly, that I don't have shame like other people do. And I say out loud what I think. And often I don't think about consequences. And I guess that's what reminded my brother of me with the mentally challenged person. Just popping out shit like out loud. But yeah, and I don't mind being different in that way. I know people think it's freeing. Like, some people look at me and think it must be freeing to be a person like that. You can just say things out loud. But there's also the case, like, okay, so I'm an eccentric person, but I do have a couple of diagnoses that are pretty, like, where does the personality show up? Where is the personality? You can say that if I didn't have ADHD and bipolar disorder, how would that affect my personality? Where's the diagnosis and where is the personality? Where does it? Am I like? Here's the thing. Last time I was there, because I take pills for bipolar, and I get very intense and very kind of like this when I'm up. Bipolar, I'm ups and downs, And lately, I've said this before too. I've been slacking off with the pills. I've just forgotten about them. So my mother, last time I was there, she said, like, she has bipolar too. And I know she means well, but she said something like, you should take your meds something, blah, blah, blah. You're gonna do so many, because like she knows how it is. So she knows how you can be with money and the effects of not taking your meds. You can go a bit crazy. But the way she said it, it felt like I wasn't good enough if I didn't take the meds, you know? The fact, like I said before, it's always kind of an uncomfortable realization or a thing. It's uncomfortable to think that I have to take medicine. I have to take these pills so I can work better, be more normal. But it's not like I am off my meds because I deliberately did so. I know I'm better off on the meds. So I'm taking them. I'm trying to. I'm just forgetting about them. But then you think about labels, you know. So I'm an eccentric person. I'm this and that. And I know I'm different. I hear this a lot. But then you put a label on it and say bipolar and ADHD, and people go, oh, okay, so that's why. To me personally, I have no problem with talking about my mental issues and pills and everything, because why should I? And I guess it's the shame thing my brother talked about, we joked about, but it's true though. It's true. That is the case whether I'm up or down or whatever. And bipolar isn't that simple. It's more complicated than that. It's not like this. It's more fluid than that. But maybe it's the ADHD thing. But I never had that shame, especially with my appearance, my body, wherever, whatever. Never had that. And I think that's one of my strengths. However, there's like... There's it's that feeling, the thought that a thing that I like about myself, right? That I don't have the shame that other people has. Maybe you can think of it as a negative thing, but I think of it as positive. But for me, thinking, oh, that's a thing I like about myself, but that thing is probably because of ADHD. It's like, like, what kind of person, who would I be if I didn't have those diagnoses, you know? Cognitive disabilities, reading slow and things like that. I am shit at IQ tests, but I'm not dumb. So, and that's sort of also the, you know, have you ever talked to like real Mensa members? By the way, just say that. Okay, yeah, they're not that bright, man. Anyway, that's just no. But I don't know. I feel I gotta go take more of my pills. I'm not like, and if you say, oh, you should take your meds, Dan, you're obviously blah blah blah. Well, I'm not like, I'm not having an episode or anything. I'm just, it's the definition I'm thinking about. I'm not having an episode. This is not a sign of bipolar or whatever. Call it whatever. It's more the thought that if I just continued taking my medication, if there was another world where I did continue taking my medication, would I sit here and have this YouTube channel, for example? Probably, but not maybe that's because I'm drinking. Maybe my drinking has something to do with that. Also, in that case, when people say, again, I don't care, but when people say you look like shit, blah blah blah, you're fat, blah blah. I know it's entertain fans, so that. But if you like, can distance yourself from it and think like intellectually, or try to think like, okay, so is there a case to be had where, okay, so do I look like shit? And I'm not saying that in a boo-hoo, I feel sorry for myself way. I'm saying like, well, I do drink a lot now. I'm not taking my pills. Is this me having some sort of an episode or going through something or whatever? Will I look back at these videos and look at my body and myself and think the same thing? You look like shit. It's like I'm there now, right? So I don't see my you know, when you meet like people that are, you know, obviously unhealthy, and you can see like, you know, they're probably, you know, drinking a lot, or like their body is a bit bloated body, you know, sweating a lot. And I'm sweating that. Well, I walked up on that, but maybe that I can't deny that might be a thing. You know, like maybe I am at. It's an uncomfortable thing to admit to oneself, you know, if I'm in a place like that. But then again, how much is drinking a lot? You know, I'm drinking myself completely drunk, like wasted. I am, but it's beer, and it's like 2 to 3 days a week because I can. But is that too much? What is too much? It's never whiskey. Rarely it's wine. But is that me like telling myself that what I'm doing isn't destructive in any way? I don't know. I don't know where I am now, but I'll try to take my pills more. And no, I know you're tempted to say like, you should take your pills, man, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. Right, you can stigmatize me as much as you want. Call me crazy, blah, 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 I don't care. But I do really believe that we should, it's healthy. It's healthy to be honest about stuff like this in society. You, me being honest with all this shit. You know, not repressing them. That's what the dumbasses are doing. We aren't dumbasses. You and me, we are not dumbasses. So I think we should talk openly about stuff like this. What we think about ourselves, what we feel about ourselves, whatever, you know. I think it's, and that's the kind of the no shame thing, I guess. That's my superpower. Because, you know, I have no shame, so I have no problem with talking straight about this. Anyway, I think I'm done. That was just my little talk. Bye.